Purple Ties Podcast. Great stories of Trevecca Trojans and life on the hill. Welcome in. Greg Ruff along with you. This is the Purple Ties Podcast. Our episode number 2 brings in the athletic director. For some reason, I think we probably should have had the athletic director in first, but we didn't, and so he's forgiven.
Michael Johnson is way more important than me.
Yes,
way more
absolutely. Well, this, in case you're wondering, in case you missed our first episode, this is an idea that came from Michael Johnson, and from many years. For a time, Trevecca had radio stations here, and we had WNAZ, and Michael and I would go on the road and broadcast those road games for basketball. And so there's a lot of time in the car, and Michael and I don't talk a lot, so you can imagine there was not a lot of conversation. Actually, there was a lot. There was a lot of conversation. These were the type of things that we talked about. And so, but the time was never right. The time was just not there. We wanted to. This is a conversation, something like this is something that Mark and I have actually talked about, and David Klimkowski and I have talked about. And so the time was just right. And it all came together. And it was a really, honestly, it was a beautiful thing over about a week that this all came together. And we were going to do a recorded show. And somehow through his MacGyver skills, David Klimkowski figured out how to do this thing live. And so this is what happens in crisis, and when people are put under pressure, new and wonderful things happen. And this is a positive thing that is coming out, that we're doing this, our second episode live. So I think Michael Johnson, who is busy, I hope he better not be watching, he better be working on his dissertation, which is what I need to be doing too, right? But so that brings us to thanking him, and also thanking David Klimkowski for making this happen. I can't thank either one of them enough. But that brings us to introducing you. Go ahead.
Yeah, but Greg, this is one of those interesting things. Way back, people got their news via the newspaper, right? And then there was this edition of radio, and then there was this edition of TV. And as time has gone on, and we've been able to try to adapt with that, with live stream and of our sporting events and things like that. This is just the next evolution of the vehicle by which we can deliver content. And you think about the history of the athletic department at Trevecca, the great history that people still would like to hear stories about. And yet we're still in the present. We want to move to the future, and this is where that is, but it still requires people, right? It still requires people. You have this great knowledge, Michael Johnson, great knowledge of the past and how it ties to the future. But this is the future, and this is where we're going, and this is how we want to deliver the content of the athletic department at Trevecca. And with people like David Klimkowski, who's on the front edge of all that, we're literally on the front edge of broadcast within the conference, within Division II, because of him. And because of the vision that you and Michael have with regards to this, we can deliver this content, and I think we're ahead of the game because of it.
Yeah, and that's it. It's the idea of all the ties over the years. Michael does a wonderful job of that in his role with Facebook and social media. He is very skilled at those things and communicating with people. It's something I've had envy of him in a positive way for a number of years, the way he communicates with ease, in particular in difficult situations. And but that is the idea, is connecting all these people, not just the current athletes. That's important, the coaches, the current coaches, but also what are the other people doing? And that's one of the wonderful things that I've had to experience over the last few weeks in this, is connecting with former athletes who are out there on the front line. Jennifer Bogner Solano, who's out there 5-6 months pregnant, doing testing for people getting in the hospital right now. Jordan Ponto McDaniel, who is an athletic trainer, but now is working in this response. And just hearing their stories. Caitlin Hudgens, who's up working in Bowling Green, doing the same thing as a nurse right now in the labor and delivery. And hearing their stories has been wonderful. So that's the type of thing that we need to do more of. We've always wanted to do more of, and this is the vehicle that we're going to do that. So, by the way, everyone, this is Mark Elliott, the athletic director here at Trevecca, and so we're bringing him in. And this is kind of we talked about this. This is the State of the Union type thing. This is a conversation, but at the same time, it's getting information out to people from your office about the athletic department right now and what you would want to communicate to them. And you had a wonderful Good Friday message. I can call that a message because it was, and you saw the responses in social media to that. So it kind of just starts off. I talked about this. This is how I'll phrase it and let you run with it. People in the summer see people in the athletic department and say, so what do y'all do in the summer? And so right now we don't have any games. So what are we doing in athletics right now?
Nothing. No, you're right. Unless you're there, unless you're a part of it, it would be a little confusing to say, well, if you don't have games, then what are you doing? These are full-time professionals. Our coaches and the people that work in the athletic department, full-time professionals, and when you talk about a year-round sporting event, I mean, that's what soccer is. That's what baseball is. That's what basketball, golf, track, volleyball. They're year-round, and people have to work year-round at it. Not only the athletes, but the coaches. If you think about it, where does recruiting start and stop? It never stops. It's ongoing. It's continual. The same thing with, if we're doing our job right, the communication between coach and athlete. I mean, there is much minister, doctor, pastor, counselor. They're all of this, and they have to stay in touch with their athletes, because the athletes have incredible amounts of work that they have to accomplish, both in the classroom. We ask them to do a good job spiritually. We ask them to do a great job physically. So to stay fit on all of the fronts, a Christian scholar athlete, as we call, that takes management, that takes monitoring, that takes work, that takes planning and execution. And so there's an awful lot of execution stuff that's going on right now. Think about this as a business. And Greg, you're a part of this as in our leadership team. We have to update policy and procedure manuals, because it's not just the athletic department, but the entire university that we have to comply with. Not only that, but we have GMAC, the Great Midwest Athletic Conference rules that we have to be in compliance with. The reports that we have to give to the NCAA. Greg, with all of the seasons of competition reports that you have to turn in, all the statistical stuff that you have to turn in. I mean, there's a lot. And so for the folks that maybe haven't seen the insides or behind the scenes type of work that goes on, just think about a business. And yes, you have heavy times and maybe some more downtime in the summer, but there's still plenty of work to be done.
One of the things that we're working at too, we'll touch on this, is the seniors. And David back in the control room is thinking, where's he going with this? But we're moving up one spot. But right now you're seeing pictures of McCray Odom, one of the seniors that we found out this week through all this is going to get to come back and play one more year. And everybody in the athletic department says, oh yeah, and everybody that we have to play next year is going, oh no. Talk about the process real quickly, shorten this down a little bit, but the process of how we're doing that and what the opportunity is for all these athletes.
Well, first and foremost, the NCAA consented to give seniors and all athletes in the spring sports an additional year of eligibility based on the fact that they were not able to complete this year. They can choose it. They don't have to choose it. They can come back or not come back. It has put some significant hardships on coaches who have signed seniors in high school who are moving forward into the process, but now they have the ability, if they wanted to maintain seniors if the seniors want to. So it is a give and take process. Not all seniors want to come back. Not all seniors are going to have the opportunity to come back necessarily. But we have, for example, we had 2 seniors on softball. McCray has made the decision to come back. We were thrilled with that. She had a great TikTok video that she announced it to her team and to everybody, and we were thrilled that she's coming back. By the way, she won our That's Us award last year at the Trojies as being the best Christian scholar athlete within the athletic department, as voted on by her peers. So to have someone of that caliber coming back, oh my goodness, we couldn't be more thrilled to have her come back. But there were 10 seniors on the baseball team, 9 of whom are at least considering coming back. And so that puts a really significant hardship on Ryan Smalls. He's having to make decisions financially. Who gets money, how much money is there. We don't just print money on trees. We don't just pull it off the tree and say, here you go. He's got a limited budget that he has to be able to function under. And so that creates some hardship and some decisions. The people that might get shrunk in this are the seniors in high school. If they did not sign, if they were spring seniors in high school and had to sign, there may not be the ability to have that. But even past that, you've got a situation where a freshman or sophomore or junior maybe thought that they were going to step into a senior's role and be a starter, and now all of a sudden that senior's coming back. So there are a lot of things to think about. It's not as easy as, oh, we just give them another year of eligibility. So there are a lot of things that we have to think about. There again, these are some of the things and decisions we have to make during the summer, where people think, oh, you're not playing games. What do you have to do, right? So we're grateful for the seniors to come back. There's track, there's golf. Ryan Rozik's coming back. That's a phenomenal get for us. Lexi Shaw has decided to move on and become our GA for golf next year. That's another great win for us, although we'd love to have her play. But there are a lot of decisions going on, and there are some decisions that need to be made between now and the end of what would typically be school.
All right. You have to do some recruiting. You have to do some retention at times. And that means this time of year is also a hot time for coaches to move, to be recruited by other schools, to be enticed. We had one who was being recruited and decided to stay, and it's Omar Mance. Talk about that and how you handle that as an athletic director, maintaining and recruiting coaches yourself.
Yeah, well, first, let me philosophically, I made a decision a couple years ago. A lot of people would look at a Division II or a Trevecca job as possibly a stepping stone. And there's some people that don't like that. And I can understand both feelings of let's bring somebody in and then they move on to the next thing. I decided that that's okay. I want to help every one of our coaches to move to a higher, more lucrative financially level if that's what they want. We have a great coaching staff right now. I want every one of them to come back to be a part of this again next year. I've asked every one of them to come back, but there's going to be some that will receive offers to move on. I want to help them do that, and I've made the decision. You know what? If Omar Mance, who we knew was going to have other offers, if he wants to go to that next level, I want to help him get there. But he's not going to get to that next level unless he does well here, right? Same thing with all of our coaches. I think of a Kelsey Phoenix. I think of an Emily Moore. I think of a Ryan Smalls. I think Austin Selby, Dave Head, all of them, Ben, they have the ability to go to the next level. Why would I not want to help them? Because they are going to give us what they possibly can. The best that they can possibly give us, or they won't go to that next level. So philosophically, I'm okay with somebody who wants to come in, who wants to make us better, who wants to potentially win championships for us and then move on to the next level. Philosophically, that's what I decided that we were going to do. Now with Omar has done a fantastic job with creating the kind of chemistry and the kind of team and morale and culture that we want in that basketball department. Now we just have to get some more wins, right? So he is going to be somebody that will have offers, and he was given an offer. I will tell you this, that it was for a couple of days I thought we would not be able to maintain, wouldn't be able to keep him because the offer was that good, with one of his best friends. In a Division I program, and he made the decision because of the university, because of Dr. Boone, because of what we've maybe tried to accomplish in the athletic department. He made the decision to stay, and to me, Greg, that is a win of wins. It's somebody from the outside who came in, who experienced Trevecca and said, that's a place that I can live, work, and believe in. And the whole spiritual aspect was a tremendous get for him. And he wanted to finish a work that he had started, and I couldn't be happier. So yeah, all of our coaches are staying, at least at this point, and they will hopefully get opportunities later on, but that's okay.
All right, something to build on, something to finish. The golf building out there. Let's finish up with that, because that work continues. The work of planning facilities and raising money. As a matter of fact, it's not something we're pushing hard at this time, but we still have to operate, right? We still have to try to do things and build facilities. Let's talk about the golf facility, because that's a go right now, isn't it?
It is. That's correct. Yeah, we've signed a contract to build the golf building. This was the brainchild of David Head, who's a really good leader, great leader for the golf team. He had a vision for this. He's got a vision for how this can be used in ministry. He's got a vision for how this would improve our golf program, and it's time. It's necessary. As you can see, the development behind the baseball outfield. at the intramural field. This is where we're going to put this. It's going to be it's time. Its time has come. We need to move some dirt, move some ground. David himself personally was involved with a huge fundraising effort and raised the money to be able to do this. Mariano Manzo, our chief financial officer, signed the contract, and we're within weeks now of starting to move dirt to create the foundation and build that building. Now we still need to raise some money to put the insides, the guts of it, if you will, what we want inside. More sophisticated training equipment and things like that, and that costs money. So there'll be additional funds that we have to raise. So this is not a stopping point, but it is a place to say we're committed to the facility, we're committed to our athletes, we're committed to getting our golf program all the resources that they possibly need. And it just doesn't stop there. We have plans for every one of our sports to increase. Greg, you and I were involved yesterday with Kelsey, women's soccer, wanting to create some new resources for filming and for the press box area and things like that. So these are ongoing. It never stops. And facilities are such a big thing in Division II and in all divisions that we have to keep up with the times, and we have to continue to try to get better. And that's what we're going to try to do, is raise money and continue to try to improve our facilities.
I would challenge anyone who's watching this now or in the replay, when you have a chance to talk to one of the Trevecca coaches, talk to them about their dreams, about their facility, about their team, because you will get an answer that I would imagine you wouldn't believe, because they think about these things. They wake up from their sleep thinking about these things, just like you do as an athletic director, about facilities, about how to do things, how to compete better, how to train athletes better. And it's boy, if you ever ask that question, be ready, because they're going to talk and they're going to share, and you're going to feel the passion that they have. If you want to see the passion outside of the competition, they want the best. And you could see that in Kelsey yesterday, Kelsey Phoenix, how she wanted to film her games better, to have better scouting film, to be able to enhance the athletes, also the fans, and all that kind of stuff. So it's great conversations to be a part of, and that's what we're doing here during our new summer right now. Well, this has been fun, Mark, and we've gone beyond the time. David Klimkowski is going to scold both of us a little bit later when we get off this, but it's been great to talk with you, and it's what I want. It's just a conversation. It's what Michael wanted, just a conversation about what is going on in athletics and how it connects to everybody who's watching, everybody who supports us over the years. 51 years, I think, now that we've had Trevecca Athletics, and it's the people that have played, supported, and coached that make it what it is, and will continue to build it. So thank you for having a chance to talk about this, and I think share information out of the State of the Union of what's going on. We could do this for another 15 minutes and still not hit everything, but Mark,
Absolutely.
thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Always like wearing the purple tie. Let's have there's enough purple ties out there for all of us. So listen, at the end of the day, we all love Trevecca, and the way we can get this information out, the way we can talk to one another, the way we have these relationships, this is a great delivery system for doing that.
So one more time, there's a guy I need to thank that I have not in this, and I am sorry to not have done it. So I'm going to focus 1 second on Andrew Preston, who is my graduate assistant. He's been an assistant more than a graduate assistant. And the stuff that we're doing right now, allowing me to be able to focus on this and some other things, is because he's beating the bushes right now and building out our website, working on that every day, working on all that kind of stuff. So I want to give a huge shout out to Andrew Preston. A little bit late. I should have done it sooner, but Andrew, thank you very much for all you've done as a graduate and now a double graduate with his MOL. With that, we're going to wrap things up. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll have more actually tomorrow, 9 a.m. We'll have Ben Tyree and McCray Odom will join us on the Purple Ties podcast. Thank you for watching. Purple Ties podcast. Great stories of Trevecca Trojans and life on the Hill.